Alright, so welcome back to Stardrive. This is the second part, and we leave off exactly where we come back and leave. Oh my god, we come back to where we had left off. We still had to conquer these people, the White Octopus, Cthulhu people on Chain 5. That planet's fairly nice, but it's not really needed, so to say. What we're gonna do is take our Space Marine army. Got some more Space Marines though, and we're gonna send them to subjugate more people, to spread the space fascism around. Back to this planet over here where we tried once before. They have some giant robots there. They have some very powerful giant robots, and that's kind of why we can't handle them. But we do need to kind of expand on our little trade network here. We're gonna arrive at this planet, and then we're gonna land our troops. The AI will take care of the ground combat for us. I mean, as long as they're subjugated, I have no problem with that. Yep, there we go. Turned it red for us. It's an Xeno mine. Discover that mine. Take it over by force. Some bug things appear Antelon. Pretty sure those were in a Half-Life actually, but okay. Take those over, build a new planet, stuff, Imperial offices, research, spaceport. Spaceport you need to send people up into space and build ships. The what do you call it? Crap. The giant blue tower thing, Imperial offices, that's it. Gives us a nice tax bonus, and that's kind of my general plan, to always build an Imperial tax office and a research lab and a spaceport on pretty much all of our planets, and a warehouse. Research is done. Let's see, what else should we build? We're gonna get large freighters, I guess, and then once we get large freighters, we're gonna get we are going to go over here, get biospheres and Xeno mining. I think I already talked about biospheres, but Xeno farming, or Xeno farm, all it does is that it multiplies the amount of food that we produce on our planets. So it's rather helpful with just building ordinary things, right? I mean, we can designate one planet as a super duper space farm. And the single purpose of that planet is then just to pump out food, really, pump out corn for everybody else. Well, that's rather neat. And because Chain 5 here is an oceanic planet, it's actually really good at another alliance offer. We're gonna accept all of those because that plays into the diplomatic part of the game, and I'll tell you guys why later on. Here at Chain 5, what we can do is that we can take over the planet. It's a very rich... oh my god, more of these treaties. That's another alliance one. Ocean 5 here has a fertility of almost 5. So you get 5 resources per one person, per one colonist there. That's an amazing planet for building food out of. And with that food, we can support a few, like, extra... we can support a few mining operations on some of the planets that are not necessarily that good in terms of fertility, like Huan or Hiran 2 here, where it's a tundra planet. It can support a fair amount of people. We can increase the amount of people it supports with the biospheres, but it has a beautiful richness of 4.8. And then if we put another multiplier on that, which is the Xeno mining one, we can get that up into roughly about 7.5 per person, and that is just going to be amazing for building big ships, right? First and foremost, have to build a few ships. I'm going to stick with fighters for now because I want to show you guys how to build a new ship. Solar system needs to pump out a few more of those Space Marines, and we're gonna launch them at the people over here. You know, come to think of it, our entire, like, you know, empire right now, it's essentially composed of like one planet that actually has humans, and the rest being just subjugated minorities, or technically majorities. Come to this planet, land all of our Space Marines, See what happens. If they take it over, it's gonna be part of our nation now. Send the fighters to deal with the space people there. Forgot their names, I just called them space people. And that should be the end of those space people. What are they doing right now? They are going over here. Okay, they can do that. We can stop persecuting them for now. Now that we have this planet, we can make them work for us by putting all of this production into food gathering. That'll make them store an immense amount of food. Actually, I do need them to produce... no, they already have a warehouse. I need them to produce quite a lot of these biospheres, and you can see that on the map. These biospheres turn the uninhabitable land into regular inhabitable land, and what that does is that increases the the amount of population this planet can control. So as you can see here, the old cap was 5.7. Once the new one puts up, it goes to 6.2. And each time it does that, it gives a little bit more, and what that'll do is that it'll turn that planet into a food exporting machine. So what we can do then is put our trade settings on to export on the oceanic world right here. So they're going to be exporting food, and that's the sole thing they will be exporting. What they can then do is export all of that food to the different smaller worlds inside our domain, and on top of that, because we've unlocked that xeno farming, we can put down one xeno farming, and that'll increase the research capability by a lot. Now I just heard an alert pop up. What is that alert all about? We're not being invaded, at least not to my knowledge. We have a few ships here, and they're protecting that planet. Oh, the research was done. Having xeno farming, we could go up to vertical farming, but in all honesty, it's not worth our time right now. We're gonna get xeno mining because it does the same thing as a xeno farming. It's simply a multiplier on what you normally get. Now let's see what we should do. What to do now? Already have the weapons. Already have that. Could go for missile technology. Missiles are rather helpful. And then we're gonna get cruiser construction. Then we're gonna jump back here and grab cryogenics and mercantilism, then privatization. And what this chain does is that cryogenics allows us to carry more people on our passenger ships or our transport ships. Mercantilism allows us to earn money on every unit of food or production moved. And privatization cuts down maintenance of platforms and freighters. Going back to that trade idea, you see how the people over here built these things, these subspace projectors? Well, if you build an entire network of those, you extend your coverage into the stars, and it makes the FTL drives a little faster. So we can, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to order our fleet to come over here and actually destroy all of their FTL accelerators. And these things inside space are the FTL accelerators. Ships are going to come in here, they're going to blow them up, jump away, and then it creates a gap right there. They're just going to knock them out like that. In the meantime, our empire is absolutely flourishing. We have more planets, more production, more research than anybody. Now, actually, we're apparently lacking in military strength and scientific strength, but that's alright. We have #1 population. That is very, very good. That allows us to be able to rapidly rearm ourselves so we can build a lot of troops because we have a lot of population, in turn a lot of production. We actually have like an excess of money right now. The game isn't built to have this much production this fast, but it's okay. We're gonna build xeno mines on all of our major production places simply because that's a really helpful thing to have. Are we being invaded? No, that's just space politics. The empires inside space are going to war with each other. We have a lot of alliances. You can see here that they're kind of fighting each other. If we go back to this diplomatic panel, the Opterists over here are ruthless technologists. They really like to expand, but it looks like they're kind of getting their butts kicked out. But they only have a military strength of 7. The two races that we're friendly with, the Bear Shogunate and the Plant people, they're fairly powerful in terms of military strength. The rest of them are all kind of doing their own thing. Yep, we want an alliance with them. Our empire is absolutely huge, and I quite honestly don't care if they steal any money from us. They want human to make glorious battle together. This is what we desire. Join us, defeat the Khorazin Collective. We're gonna take them up on their offer, and we're gonna fight the yellow people here, I believe? Yes, we're gonna fight the yellow people here. So we are at a war. It looks like our trade route thing is going to have to wait, because we need to build some ships. This is the shipbuilding selection. So we had to build a ship, and let's start off with corvettes. We need to build a corvette, a ship that's slightly bigger than a fighter. I always like to consider them as fighter bombers. We need to build something like that. So let's start. First and foremost, we need a nuclear reactor on board one of these fighters. We're gonna need, we are going to need small combat thrusters, or no. We're gonna need medium engine on this. How the engines work is that combat thrusters only provide like subspace fighting power, as in they don't provide FTL travel ability, while warp engines only produce, or no, they don't necessarily only produce, but they produce pretty much the majority of their power comes from their warp ability. Medium engines are a combination of both, so we put one of them there. How you build ships in this game is that you kind of had to fill up this entire grid, and you had to follow the order. Things like, let's see, like cockpits and stuff like that. We are actually going to put a bridge on this ship. These can only be placed on the tiles that say I or IO, and what these stand is, you have I for interior, outside for O, and then E for engine. So if I strip away the engine, you can see that this is the only place that we can put an engine, and that's because it's marked with an E. The rest of the places with I's, we can only put interior stuff, and places with IOs, we can put anything. So what I want to make this Corvette, I want to make this Corvette kind of like a gunboat, so I'm going to put a lot of machine guns on it. And what else should I do? I'm going to put a small ordnance hold on both sides here. You do need to store the ammunition inside what I like to call the fighter bomber, so we're going to store ammunition there. For power, we're going to, for missiles, we're going to put 2 rocket launchers onto the front of the ship. Or actually, we can put 2 missile launchers onto the front of this thing and turn this thing into like a rocket boat if we really wanted to, but I don't think so. What I think I'll do is I'll put some rockets in the front, a power plant, a small nuclear reactor right there, and I think I'll armor up the ship from there. So I'm gonna put armor on the front, armor on the side. The cool thing about this game is that if shots actually come from the side and hit through the plating, if it hits our reactor, the whole ship is dead. So if this ship gets flanked and say gets all its guns pummeled out, and then something just so happens to blow up the reactor, the enemy doesn't actually have to go through and nick the rest of the parts of the ship. I feel like this ship is just missing something, but I don't know what. That's the thing. I'm actually just gonna keep. I'm just gonna put all the ammunition holds there and build something like that. Something like that. It's decent. It's all right. No cargo space. Decent amount of hit points. Decent production facility. And we're just gonna say Save that as the Hunter. Something like that, and then we're going to make another model of this vessel. With rockets inside the front. So then what we need to do with that is that we need to put another engine. Where is the engine? No. Reactor. One reactor there. And then this time it's just gonna carry a lot more storage like that. And then save that as the Hunter H variant, I guess. So one of these Hunter vessels has more protection and is kind of more of a dogfighting thing, and another variant is more or less a dogfighting vehicle or a heavy bombing type of thing. We do have to set our ships on their AI modes, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to assign them the standard direct attack routine. So I load up these things, just click a button here. Ship will rotate so that its forward firing weapons is facing the target. That's all it does. It's just really helpful because the ships are kind of dumb if they don't have AI routines like that. Next up, we will have to build ourselves a frigate. We have two options, going with the heavy gunboat or the regular gunboat. I already have a few ships made for that, so let's go to the frigate tab. I already have the Hound, which is a rocket firing machine, and I also have the orbital bombardment frigate, which is a thing just loaded up with these bomb bays, and its only priority is to bomb the living crap out of what do you call them? Planets. There we go. We're at war with these yellow people, so we need to take them over, and we need to assemble a fleet to go and invade them. Let's go to Earth, and let's start assembling corvettes. Let's get a few of these Hunter H's. As soon as they're done with the Xenomine, they will be building regular good old Hunters. This planet right here will be building corvette, or no, frigates for us. They'll be building these orbital bombardment frigates. And then this planet right here will be building some more corvettes for us. So there we go. The next thing we have to worry about is fleet logistics. We need to supply our troops with ammunition and repairs. I'm going to go to the platform section here, and I'm going to build a really quick and dirty production facility. What I mean by that is that this will be an ammunition... Oh crap, you can't build it on these small platforms. We're going to be building a ship meant for, or rather station, that will function as a supply base. Actually, I already have one built. Where is it? I already have a supply base built here. That's kind of just power supplies, bricks of armor, and ship landing bays, right? But the problem with this is that it's actually not all that well, it's actually not all that well built, seeing as only one ship can be actually supplied at one time. One ship can only be supplied from one of these posts at one time, so I am actually going to do something like this, take off all of these subsections, and then just leave this one right here. So to kind of save the production costs on this thing, we're just going to plate it with these internal bulkheads and get rid of some of this heavier armor. Replace it with the lighter variant, that's a little better, I suppose. Because you can't have these places, and well, actually, what we can do is just put these power conduits everywhere, and that'll save some major costs. We just power conduit the entire thing. And the entire reason I'm doing this is that all I want to do is build a cheap supply station, someplace that can ferry ordnance to my troops, and then just essentially a disposable ordnance station, right? So I want this place to be as cheap as possible. If I just build these these power conduit meshes, I can essentially build a really cheap station that will just supply troops. And what I mean by that is that there is a module inside the game called the hangar, the Ordnance Supply Bay hangar. What this Ordnance Supply Bay hangar will do is that it'll produce one really cheap, like, shuttle vehicle to deliver supplies. And what I essentially do here by reducing the costs is that it gives me the flexibility of building a lot of these instead of just having one that can supply one vehicle. I can have multiple stations that do this role and supply almost our entire force, really, from like a couple of these stations, right? Yeah, so we're just gonna save that as deep ordnance station, so that saved us a little bit of costs. And what we are going to do is that we're just going to build one right there. Let's build two, actually. Two just sitting there. This planet was meant to be the what do you call it? The industrial planet, and I think, or not the industrial planet, but the planet that produces food for everybody else. So I think I'll keep it doing that role. And what I'll do is I'll make peace with these people. Yeah, so we're at peace with them for now, at least. So they'll be friendly for now, at least, since we need to get these war preparations done. In the meantime, from Chain, our industrial or economic planet, we need to expand into the stars and grab some of the more lucrative holdings inside the universe. Like this planet right here, it's a tundra planet, but it's ultra rich. It's ultra rich. It looks like our neighbors have a problem with us grabbing that planet, but it's not that big of a deal, right? Just kind of looking for other. Yeah, this ice planet is also pretty rich, so we'll be grabbing that as well. We'll actually grab both of them. I mean, they can't really do anything because we do have like one of the best militaries, so we'll grab those planets, and what we can do from there is that we can build a subspace travel system. So what I'm doing here is I'm laying out pretty much what the people have over there. It's a subspace projector network. It just speeds up the FTL drives of our ships. I know it's kind of sloppy, but oh well. And that'll build us a trade grid that we can further expand on. So something like that. Whoops. I'll be right back. I need to change the coloring system on my desktop.